One. Trey Wallace here for Outkick.com. I'm happy to be joined by a guest today that I found on the internet this past week after covering the SEC championship game in Atlanta between Alabama and Georgia. And I came across this late at night. Like it was like 11:15, 11:30, and somebody sent me a TikTok video, and I was like, you know what, that's kind of funny. And then I looked at the whole YouTube video of it, and it's amazing. And I want to talk about it with Connor McBee. He joins me here today. Connor, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Thanks for having me, Trey. Happy to be here, man.
Absolutely. So I want to get this thing started. Okay, let's back this up. I was covering the SEC championship game on Saturday in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and this was something I had planned on doing for a while, and I had to do. You decided you wanted to experience a football game of this magnitude, but the prices were absolutely crazy to get in.
Ridiculous.
Right. As media members, we get a credential to get in because they want us to cover the event. So it's a little easier for us. But in your case, and I looked at tickets. Tickets were crazy.
Ridiculous, man.
Right. And even on the street with scalpers, it was nuts. So you came up with a very good idea. And I don't know how good it turned out to be in the long run. It helped you out. In the middle, there was some problems, but so let's get this started off. From your end on. First off, what made you decide to go to the title game on Saturday in Atlanta?
Well, first of all, I mean, I've been a Dogs fan since I can remember. I went to UGA. I was in the marching band, and hadn't seen them play all season, honestly. So I was like, well, I guess this is my chance. And I looked at ticket prices, and it was ridiculous. It was like $600 for like the worst seats in the house. So I knew that was not an option. So actually, the night before, I was hanging out with my buddy, and we were watching a different YouTuber. His name's Simon Wilson. You guys should check him out. He makes amazing videos. But he was sneaking to all these places, and I was like, wait, title game's tomorrow. I can just sneak in. This guy can do it. Why can't I do it? So that's what I did.
Okay, so you got to walk. So we got to walk through this. If people haven't seen the video, I'm going to link it in to the article that we're posting in and whatnot, so everybody can take a look at the long video that Connor put out of how he got in. But I'm gonna talk about this for a second. As media members, we have to go through a certain criteria where we have to fill out a form, 3 weeks in advance. We have to upload a photo of us. They have to put us in the system. They run checks. They make sure that we're with an outlet, whatnot, whatever. And then the process on game day is, we have to go up to the window. We have to show them an ID, and we get that credential. Then we have to go through security, whatnot, and we're just stuck in the press box. We can't go any further because of the COVID stuff that's going along. The processes they're still handling. In your case, you decided to come up with a different way to get into the football game on Saturday. And it astonished me because of everything that goes into getting into a championship game for us. It astonished me that you got in the way that you did. So
Me too, honestly.
I'm going to hand it over to you here. And I want you to talk about what you were thinking as you were putting together the plan to get into Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
So, like I said, I went to UGA. I was in the marching band, and when you're a member, sometimes they go to away games. It's called Derby, so they give you like a polo, and it has like a UGA logo on it. It looks kind of official. And I had snuck into like a few games in Athens before, and it's super easy there. But and I hope I'm not giving away all my secrets. So I was wearing this polo, and I was like, man, if it can get me into Athens, it can maybe get me into the band. So I started hitting up some friends that had been there before, some members of the band, and they're like, no, dude, it's impossible. Like, we have to go through all these metal detectors and all these drug dogs, and there's guys with ARs at the door, and there's no way you can get in. So honestly, I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. And so if you watch the video, I get there, and like for the first, honestly, most of the video, I'm just like, shit, like, how am I gonna do this? Like, it seems impossible. First of all,
walking around everywhere at the stadium trying to find entry points to be able to get
dude,
in.
I went everywhere, dude. I went to all the gates, and they were all just, there was one in at a time turnstiles. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Hop a turnstile? Like, I'm not gonna get arrested here. So, because I wanted to be slick, right? I didn't want to just like be an idiot. I didn't want to break in, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No reason to
So
fail. Right.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I went to the few gates, and I just told them some made up story that I was with the Redcoats media, and I have a digital camera with like a nice microphone, so it kind of looks like I could maybe be with the media. And and they're like, oh yeah, you need to go to the media gate, media gate, media gate, media gate. Everybody was telling me to go to the media gate. And
Which has
so
a
I was
big
like, man,
white tent set up, and yeah, there's also an
yeah,
area, and I know you'll talk about this. There's also an area off to the side where you got to go try to pick up your credential.
that's the thing too. And so I went to the credential area, and I figured I could smooth talk him and tell my story. But first thing right away, he's like, ID. And it's just like two old guys, just like ID, just waiting for me to hand it over. I'm like, I was not prepared for this. I left it in the hotel. My ID's in the hotel. See you later. So I just walked away, tried to regroup. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go try to find the band again. So I go to the Home Depot game day area
Yeah.
in the World Congress Center. And the band's long gone. I can't catch up with them. And my original plan was I was going to sneak in like after them, because I didn't want to like incriminate anybody in the band. I just wanted to like kind of just, follow their lead type situation. And so that didn't work out. The band was long gone. And I keep going to the ticket booth, man, and everybody's telling me go to the media entrance. So I'm like, well, I can't, because those guys are there guarding it, the IDs, and what am I going to do? Commit identity theft, So didn't want to do that. So I went to the players entrance, the players family member entrance, and almost got in, but the camera gave it away. They're like, you got to go to media. I'm like, all right, man, got to go to media. So go back over there. I gave him some fake name, and the girl pulls out this list. And as she's doing that, I like snap a picture of the list.
Okay.
And she's like,
Let's stop right there. Okay. So
uh-huh,
as you are doing this, I am coming into the media tent, and I want to set this up for folks because
sure.
it's pretty nuts. I'm coming into the media tent, and I've got a lanyard. I've got a photo credential with my mug on it, right there on it. I have to show it to them to be able to get through. Then I have to go through a metal detector. I have to send my backpack with my laptop, camera, whatnot, through the x-ray machine. So it is a process. And if you don't have a credential, most of the time you cannot get in. You have to have a credential, or you have to be on the list to be able to grab one if you can. So that's what I was going through as I came up to it. Now you take over and tell me where it went once you got to the media team.
Yeah, it's all kinds of verifications and credentials, and you got to have a wristband, you got to have a lanyard, you got to be on the list. It's insane. So I'm like, man, I'm up against a lot right now. So yeah, she pulls out the list. She goes to check for my fake name. It's not there. As she's doing that, I take a picture and just pick some random name off the list. And so there's a few different staff members at the entrance, and so homegirl says no. And then so I turned to her coworker as she's not looking, and I'm like, hey, my name is this. I gave her a new name, because I couldn't just give her a new different name. That would be ridiculous. So turn to this guy, hey, my name's such and such. I'm late. Sorry, I got to get in for kickoff, whatever. And he like runs to go to one of his colleagues, checks the list that the new name is on. And he's like,
So
come here.
you gave them a name of a media member that was already on the list?
Yes.
And you found that because you snapped a photo of the list and then you zoomed in and just found a name to use.
Correct.
That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
So I get in the booth or the tent, and they give me the wristband, and they're like, oh, you're going to need your media credential. And I was like, yeah, it's in there. My boss is like, he's got it in there. So I go to the metal detector, and I'm shaking, dude. I'm like, I got a wristband. I'm in, just losing my mind. And so I think I'm in, right? And then I get to the turnstile, and there's a girl like waiting in the turnstile. It's not just like a normal turnstile. It's like a human being there, because it's like media entrance and also handicap entrance.
Yep.
So I go up to this girl, and I'm like, hey, media. And I just try to like blow by her, show the wristband. And she's like, wait, where's your lanyard? You have to show them your ID. You have to get your lanyard. You have to come back in. She just gave me the whole 9 yards again, and I was like, damn, dude. So I was like, it's inside. I'm gonna call my boss, and we'll get this sorted out. And the whole time I'm trying to be professional and act like I'm working, but I'm like
Right.
losing my mind, dude.
With your red coat shirt on, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. That's trippy. Keep going.
So where was I? Oh yeah. So I'm like on the phone with my boss, just like waiting for something to happen. And this like disgruntled group of fans comes up and they're like, oh, we need a wheelchair because such and such, and we need to come in this entrance. And by this time it was like 3:30, 3:40. So dude, it was slammed. It was like a sea of people trying to get in. So I think these people were just trying to be smooth and just like get in a different entrance. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm handicapped. I need to get in this entrance, whatever. And she's like, no, I need blah, blah, blah. And they get into some drama, long story short.
Yeah.
And so the girl guarding the gate is like a little pissed off. She's like a little upset that she had just been spoken to in such a way. And then I'm like, this is my entrance. So I go to her and I'm like, hey, look, I'm sorry. Like, I know you're busy. I know you're slammed. I know it's crazy. I feel for you, but like, I got my pass. Can I just go in? She's like, you got your wristband? Yeah, just go in. So, and then I was in, bro. And then I turn on the camera and you'll see in the video, I'm just like, I just keep saying, I'm in, just like losing my mind.
So you didn't have to show, like, when you gave the name, like, and you're talking about a wristband. I don't remember the wristbands. I don't remember, just because I guess because I didn't have to get one. That's why I didn't know about a wristband you would get at a festival or something like that. Pretty much is what.
Yeah.
I did. So you didn't have to show, like, when you gave the name, you didn't have to show an ID or anything like that. They just slapped a wristband on you and said, you're good.
But as they did it, they were like, you need your credentials. And I was like,
Okay.
and honestly, I wasn't really processing. I was just like, I got a wristband. Oh my God.
Right.
You know?
And then all of a sudden you go through the young lady at the turnstiles, and finally they say, okay, after a little bit of convincing, they're like, okay, you can go in. You've got this wristband, which blows my mind because that shouldn't happen, but it did happen in a sense. So so you get in, you're inside Mercedes-Benz Dome, where there's tickets going for $1,000 to $1,600. I mean, use $600 to sit in the upper deck. You're inside the stadium. What do you do next, man?
Well, dude, I just started walking around, like just filming, kind of like describing what was happening. And let's see, I walked down. I got as close as I could to the field because I have my wristband. I can walk into any section I want. So I go down as close to the field as I can. I start filming. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. Like, I was just outside considering driving home, like just considering this whole day a waste. But now I'm here. I'm like 10 feet away from the field, and I just kind of took it in for a second, and then I've just found a seat. But I figured, it's sold out, so I'm not going to get a seat. So I just like kind of snuck into the handicap section that's like next to the suites in the lower level.
Chairs lined up.
Yeah, they got the chairs lined up, and they got like little fridges for the guys, and it's like a really nice area, really close to the field.
Yeah.
And dude, you might think this is funny. I stood there with my little digital camera, like acting like I was filming the game, and like acting all professional, and like asking people to move out of the way. Like, I'm with media. Like, can you sit down? I'm trying
to... that is we've done that before. Ma'am, I'm trying to take a picture, please. 1 second. Let me take the picture, and then you can go back to doing your thing. No, I've nicely asked for that to happen before, but it's, so you got to, and people are going to see this in the YouTube video that you put out that was just from a consumer, it was very well done. Like, I'll be honest, just how you did it.
Thank you.
And I'll be honest with you, and I want your opinion on this too, because this might be an interesting question for you. For all the security that a guy like I would have to go through, or other media members would have to go through, and it's not a lot. But you gotta, they have to know who you are. Your name's got to be on the list. You got to have a credential. You can only go to one area. Like, you can only go to the press box. You can't go down the field. Like, you have green lanterns mean you go on the field. You got to red pass means I go back to the locker room area and interview folks after the game, whatnot. But mainly I'm going to the press box. Is it weird that you were able, like when you look back on it now, is it like, damn, okay, this is interesting that I got into this big stadium during this huge event, and really all I needed to do was kind of talk my way into it.
Dude, honestly, I just think even to this day, like when you asked me to do this interview, I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, I cannot believe I did this, and I can't believe this is possible. It's like reality warping. It's just so strange to me. But I mean, I will say, like, I found a way in, but it wasn't like, it definitely took a lot of trial and error. Like if you watch the video, I went to 5, 6 different entrances with all these different stories, and it wasn't as easy as like maybe it sounds, but it took a little time. You know what I mean? Is
No,
what I'm
no,
trying
no,
to say.
yeah, and I get that part of it. No, trust me, watching the video, it's 25 minutes for a reason. You go to great lengths. Man,
Yeah.
I gotta ask, what was it like being inside the game? I mean, just getting to experience all that.
Bro, I was losing my mind, man. Dude, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I actually went in the tunnel. Like with my wristband, I went like into little Mercedes Benz, like what is it? Like the field level.
Field level suite. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like saw, well, I'm a UGA fan, like I said. So I wanted to go see them like in the locker room. I didn't know. Like I just got there and I was like testing all these boundaries. Like, can I get in the locker room? I don't know. Let's see. So I go down there and I'm like trying to find the UGA locker room, but then Alabama is just like coming out of the locker room. Like, holy shit. I just start filming like Nick Saban, like the refs are right here.
See, I did see that part, and it was astonishing that you got that on video, just because of the area that it was in and whatnot. But I think a
I
lot of
still can't
people,
believe it.
I think a lot of people too. If I've watched those videos from years ago, and I remember one dude, and I forgot, it was an MTV documentary where he used to sneak into festivals, music festivals back in the day, and it kind of reminded me of that, and that's why I wanted to chat with you about it, just because of how crazy it is that you got in, and then the fact of how you got in. Did you any kind of problems like during the game or after the game, and or you would just sit and you enjoyed the day?
Well, I basically like had to be like in character all day. I had to kind of walk fast all day and kind of look busy and, just pretend that I was working, which did kind of take away from the experience a little bit because I wanted to just like be a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan and just like scream and like high five. But I was like, no, I gotta, film.
Like it looked like,
Uh,
yeah,
so, so yeah, that was definitely something. But I mean, as like, UGA would like storm down the field or something. I think we got like, it was 10-0 in the first quarter or something. So like we had some big pass. And then, so I'm like, oh, I want to go to the other end of the field. I want to see this up close. So I try to go to a different handicap section,
yeah.
if that makes sense. And I try to like go in and I give her my wristband and she's like, wait, media, like you're not supposed to be here and you're not handicapped. Like, why are you here? And I was like, oh, well, I'm with the Redcoats and like I'm on special assignment. They asked me to come over here. So I gotta.
That's that. Okay, have you heard from anybody that is involved with the Redcoat band? I know you have some people, some friends that we're not going to name. Okay, but I'm talking about like social media. Anybody that's reached out to you like from the Redcoat band and be like, "How'd you do this?" I mean,
Yeah, bro. So on the TikTok video, it did kind of well. It got like a few 100,000 views. So I feel like a lot of people in Athens saw it, and so the UGA Redcoat marching band TikTok commented on it,
no
and
way.
they were like, we didn't see you at the media meeting.
Wow. Okay. So somebody official who runs that social media account absolutely commented on the video, which
Yeah.
just makes it even better. Have you heard from anybody else this week in regards to Georgia or anybody? SEC?
Nobody official, just friends reaching out like, how the hell did you do that? But nobody official. I mean, hopefully it doesn't reach any super higher ups because I'd like the video to stay on the internet.
I wouldn't see why it'd be a problem that it's staying on the internet. We've seen these type of things happen around the country and all that good stuff. Um, what was your main takeaway from it all? Just just being able to experience something like that, really, or like, wow, I got into this big game.
Yeah, honestly, it just kind of like didn't even feel real. And it made me realize like, oh, I can just like do whatever I want, I guess, if I know what to say and who to talk to. And I don't know. It just feels like I'm living in a video game. Like I can just like manipulate certain factors and talk to the right people and things work out.
Were you scared that you were going to get arrested if like the Southeastern Conference figured it out, or anything like that?
Cause like when I went in, it was so busy, man, that like I didn't think anybody was paying me any mind. Like I had my wristband, I had like a decent looking camera, and I feel like that's a good enough disguise. And you know,
Yeah. Okay. So Georgia is playing in Miami. Got any plans to go to Miami in a couple weeks?
I don't want to give away my secrets.
There you go. No, that's fantastic. Hey, listen, Connor. I urge people to go watch the video. It's funny. In my opinion, it was whatever security lapse, however you want to put it, but it was harmless. It was good fun. And I appreciate you joining now
Yeah,
with
bro.
me
Thanks for having me.
today. And I'm sure the Red Coats will be reaching out whenever they see this, and we'll see how that goes. But I think your shirt is fine for now. But Connor, listen, I do appreciate you sharing the story, man. We're gonna link everybody. We're gonna link his YouTube video in the story that we put out, and you can go watch the full 24-minute video, something like that. It's very detailing of how it all went down. So, Connor, thanks so much for joining, man. I'm glad you got to enjoy the game. Sorry your
Yeah, bro.
Bulldogs lost.
No worries, Trey. Thanks for having me so much, man.
Appreciate it, buddy. I'm Trey Wallace with Outkick.com. Stay tuned.